Hi everybody and welcome to excusemeprofessor.com. So today I'm going to talk about finding hope. So many things are happening right now. The politics are blowing up. We just had more firestorms in California and the Napa Valley where I'm from. The coronavirus pandemic, people have lost their jobs. So many things are happening. I did survive the 2008 crash, so a lot of the things I'm going to talk about in this video series will be ways that I survived that actually. So when the pandemic hit this time, I was actually more psychologically prepared than I was in 2008. So I wanted to share with you some tips and tricks of how I get out of depression. I have suffered from depression since I was 16. A lot of people don't know that. I tend to keep it under the radar. But because there is so much going on, so many things are happening, I really want to make these videos and come out, you could say, about my own depression and ways I go through what I call that rabbit hole onto the other side and finding hope. And how to find hope when it just seems like everything around you is just starting to crumble. So the first part I want to talk about is being real with yourself. I know with the power of positive thinking, a lot of it has to do with you just have to think positively. And the reason why you're feeling these negative emotions or feeling sad or depressed or maybe even angry is because you're just not thinking positively enough. And I think that's actually a dangerous scenario to get trapped in your head. I call it the power of positive doing. And that's what I'm going to focus on, especially in this video, the power of positive doing. That way you can embrace your emotions. You can say, I am feeling these emotions. This is reality. I have lost my house. I have lost a loved one to coronavirus. Maybe you caught corona and you have now become physically disabled because of it. I got physically disabled in August due to a back injury. So I have a lot of sympathy for people who have ended up physically disabled. I do not know if the injury that occurred in my back is ever going to properly heal or not. I'm still in that process, but it's definitely a loss of that morning, of the life I used to live and have as someone that was extremely active, to who I have had to embrace now. So feeling all those feelings to me is extremely important, and understand you are not at fault for how you are feeling in the moment, especially during this time. I don't want you to feel that the things that are happening around you are your fault either. I think we tend to blame a lot in our society people for the things that happen to them, and this is definitely not the time where people need to be blaming themselves for the things that are occurring and the domino effects that are happening. So embracing those emotions. I'm a huge fan of crying those tears, of giving myself a hug, maybe screaming in a pillow. And I have even gotten therapy myself when it became too overwhelming or had to try and find other avenues so that I could just digest, because depression sometimes is when we're not able to digest at the moment, or too many impacts to digest, and being able to digest those emotions and feelings that are wreaking havoc within our sometimes small bodies. And I have a pretty small body, so when all that anxiety and feelings come up, I sometimes do feel like my body is just too small to handle everything that's happening around me and inside of me right now. So these are the things that I do, what I call taking one step at a time, or being proud of yourself to doing one thing in the day. And I do this all the time when I end up depressed. Doesn't mean I haven't stayed in bed for a couple days, put the covers over my head, and been like, I just can't get up. But when I can finally at least just get up, and I can just do the laundry, or I can go out for a walk. I take a lot of walks when I'm depressed. If I can just, even if it's in my pajamas, I live in my pajamas during Corona, so I'll even go out for a walk in my pajamas. It doesn't matter. My neighbors, they don't care if I'm in my pajamas or not taking a walk, but I do that. And then I'm proud I'm proud of what I do in the day, and I push everything aside about everything that maybe I should be doing in the day, because I can't get to that. I'm not in that state of mind to get to it. But I can do a walk, and I'm proud that I did that walk. Even if I didn't go as far in that walk as I did the day before, I'm still proud that I got up and did that walk. I'm proud and that I put on my clothes. I'm proud that I did the laundry or mopped the kitchen floor or did the dishes. All these small things, even if it's just one thing in that day, and then you're able to do 2 things in the day, then maybe 3 things in the day. And that is definitely one way I have gone through that rabbit hole, that darkened rabbit hole, and out to the other end, is just these small things. It's not big. Our society tends to try and think big. Even if I only get 5 likes on this video, those 5 people understand are really important to me. So it's not about big. It's not even about fame or famous. It's about that one small thing that you can do for yourself and maybe do for somebody else. And I'm going to get into that too. So what I'm going to show you, and I have a range of depressive moments right in front of me. So it kind of exhibits how much anxiety and moments of depression I have actually been through myself in my lifetime. And this is just, of course, a little section. And the store, I finally did create a store on my site, because I really do need to create and then allow someone else to have that creation after I've gone through that moment. But of course, diary writing is a big one. And of course, we all hear about it, but I'm going to mention it again. And sometimes I do start, when it's embracing my emotions, I do start, this is how I feel. Usually by the end of the diary writing, I am able to think a bit more positively, or at least see a little bit glimmer of hope, or some type of problem solving moment that can help me get to the next step. So I highly recommend diary writing. I have a blog on my site about my own emotional experience of ending up too isolated during the corona pandemic, and my upward thinking, my inward thinking, and just what I call surviving COVID. So you can check that out. Maybe that will inspire you. I have a forum on my blog if you need a space where you feel like, because that's the other thing, feel like you want someone to be listening to. I sometimes write to a friend, doesn't always respond. It's like an old email, but I always feel like that somehow by writing to a human being, it's a different experience. So use the form if you have to. Write down your emotions in it. It's there for you, and I want you to know that too. But diary writing or writing is very important. Sometimes I don't know what to write. Sometimes I feel like writing. I don't know what to write in the moment. And so when I was depressed or going through a difficult time, I got writing prompts. Sometimes they're shallow and superficial. What is your favorite game to play? But sometimes they actually get more meaningful. And so sometimes I will do 2 or 3. It's one of the things I can be proud of. It's simple. Depression takes a lot of energy. It's something I can be proud of in the day that I did, even though I was writing something about my favorite game, or different things in here. So if you're an artist, I also have drawing prompts. Whether it's meditative, doesn't take a lot of energy. It's something, once again, it's small. I did a drawing today. I just did what's the next one? Deer antlers. I just drew that, and I'm proud that I was still in bed, but I watched antlers. I'm a huge fan of documentaries, and I literally, if I'm in bed and I can't get up out of bed, I'll watch documentaries or funny videos on YouTube. I'm still in bed, but I'm still doing something. Documentaries. I'm still learning something with funny videos. I'm seeing how other people are expressing sometimes their hope, whether it's cute babies or Kitty Lady. I love Kitty Lady. Any people who rescue animals is a big one with me. So it just shows me compassion, human compassion that other people have, whether for animals or people. Invisible People is another great one about homelessness and people that are in despair that way. And I've seen a lot of great things. It's just a guy goes around with his phone and interviews homeless people. He was homeless, I guess, for 5 years. And this is his way of expressing these invisible people. And that definitely also helps me understand the reality that my situation might not be as bad, or if it is, I'm not homeless myself, but if somebody has gotten to that point, that you are also not alone, and that this person really does care about these people. And there are lots of people that care out there, even though at the moment you might not feel that. But I'm making these videos to validate that you are cared for, even though I can't hug you in person right now, even though there isn't that there during Corona. These holidays are coming up, but you are definitely cared for. So that's the writing. That's this. The other things I'm going to show you. This is my creative, crazy life. I love cats, but I'm not a crazy cat lady. I'm a crazy creative lady. And like I said, this is my anxiety. So that we're gonna start. Berkeley. Going ins and outs of my depression. I made this one thing that is meaningful to me. I joined a dance crowd, so there were a lot of cravats. So I started making cravats, like male cravats, hoping that I might sell some, but they ended up more like wall hangings. But this is what I call a hope scarf. I made this during one of my depressions, and this was me saying to myself that I'm not going to give up on myself, and a promise. So this was a promise to myself. So every time I would see it, I would be reminded that I'm promising myself that I am going to get through this dark tunnel and out to the other end if possible. Doesn't mean I haven't gotten so far down where sometimes looking at it, the reminder wasn't really difficult, but it was still something meaningful, especially at the time, and I created it. And I say I'm creating this in this moment because in this moment I'm making that promise in that moment, and so hopefully in the future I can continue to remind myself of that promise. And so these these are like little lights. So they're windows, and through the windows, I mean it's an abstract version, but through the windows are these little lights of hope. And that's what this scarf, that's what this creative moment means. In 2008, fires happened in Napa. The first big firestorm. Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? People are getting evicted. The anxiety is running high again. I'm feeling it. I'm a very empathic person, or can be, and is it my house? Is it my street that's gonna go next, or we're gonna only have 5 minutes? I actually didn't live in that type of area, but you could feel it all around. So my sewing machine and my crochet hooks are like the biggest survival skills I have. You have 5 minutes to rush out of your house, or some people did. As expressing myself as an artist, I created, and this is just one piece. I created a whole. I became obsessed with organizing my sewing stuff. So if I only had 5 or 10 minutes, I could rush out the door. So I can put stuff in here, big round containers where I could put my sewing machine, the one that isn't so heavy. I have 2 sewing machines, but my carry one, and I just became obsessed with organizing my crochet life and my sewing life during that time. I'm an artist, so my anxiety comes through having to express myself in those moments. And then crocheting hats. Oh my god, I have crocheted so many hats. So I got sick at one point during a stressful time, but I got really sick. I couldn't afford to actually buy a hat and scarf for myself. And so I actually got a big ball of green yarn at Michael's, and so I crocheted one. And then that just started like a whole nother series of crazy hats. That was my humor, especially when I'm depressed. And so when I injured my back, I injured it my very last semester of school. And so all I could do, once again, I'm embracing my emotions, because I can't, because the impact, having a professor that I wished had more empathy and didn't at the time. I had one that was really great. Another one, he just emotionally wasn't there. I had to take incompletes in all 3 of my classes, which put me into another semester. And all this stuff happened. I had to mourn the loss of the physical person I was and the reality of the physical person I am now, which is a bit better than where I was before, but it's still really difficult. So I'm sitting on my yoga ball, which is the only thing I can sit on. And with this month of the Christmas vacation time that we have, and I have no job now. My income has been depleted. So, because I'm injured, I can't work. So I went on a crochet rampage. It's winter, it's a winter hat. So this was one of my last ones. A friend actually bought a couple. So that was good. That helped me pay my bills for a month. But so this is one of my favorite ones, and I will seriously wear these, especially when I'm depressed. I'll just wear them. They're silly. This is my humor, even in the darkest moments. These are my humor, and crocheting a hat, and literally when I was in that state where I'm crying, my tears are coming down, I'm sitting on my yoga ball. The things that these represent is having to survive the next day, having to survive that next moment when you wish you didn't have to survive, when you wish you could just end it all, end everything, but you have to find a way to just keep going within sometimes the next minute or the next crochet hook movement. And so I have to finish the hat. A hat takes about a day. I have to survive that day. I have to survive the next row on that hat, the next row on that hat. And once again, it's that little by little by little. Not a big thing. It's one line after another. So this is one of my last ones I made. These take 3 days. This is what I call a rain catcher, which I created. It was an idea that I got from the Renaissance Fair. So it's a forever scarf. It goes around, and then it's a hood. So I made one a long time ago, and then I upgraded it because a friend wanted a couple, and so these take 3 days. So I have to survive 3 days. I think a lot of my creative energy and stuff is just about, like, it became a survival skill of I have to finish this. These take 3 days. I have to survive 3 days. I have to crochet the next thing for that moment, the next row and the next row and the next row to finish it. I have to survive. So no matter how I might feel on the inside, I have to still do that motion and get through the next row and the next row. I can still embrace my emotions, but I'm doing something positive in the meantime, and then I can wear them. And it's funny. Then of course Corona hits, and I make another crazy silly hat because I don't know what to do with my anxiety. So here's my Corona hat. It comes down, messy hair. It's a collar. I don't know where I got this idea, but it's a collar. And you can pull it up, so it's like this. You can wear it like this. And and what can I say? And it's silly, and I'll probably wear it at Target, because, like, why not? Because why not? So, and then Corona still hits. There's nothing in the stores, so of course masks. Like, how many masks did I make? These are my mom's. I sold some. I gave away others. I'm part of the Quilters Guild, and they were donating masks. So I made mask over mask over mask. Just so. And there's nothing on the shelves. I'm panicking. There's no napkins on the shelves, so I made myself napkins. I just cut up a baby blanket, made napkins. My parents thought I had gone insane, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. People are dying. Everything's happening around me. I had to drop this class that I really loved. I didn't need, but I really loved it. I don't know what to, like, I'm so small, and my emotions are so big. So I have to do something. I must have made 4 or 5 boxes. There's this one. I keep my makeup in out of pot holders, dollar store stuff. I covered this with fabric, and these are to wash my dishes. And then here's something for my pens. $5 pattern on Amazon. And I've made 4 of these. I made 2 for friends that haven't gotten them yet because I'm still working on their care packages. But did I need it? I don't know if I needed it, but I think it's cool. It helped me organize more because I'm a fanatical organizer. So let's talk about thinking about other people. Depression, it can be very can be very self-centered, and I think that's what gets to a lot of people, especially from the outside. I understand it. You're trying to validate yourself through the outside because you've lost your validation on the inside, and sometimes you don't get that validation from the person that you're hoping to get validated for. This is a way to get validation by giving, and connecting with another human being. I make cards. Okay, send a shitload of cards right now. I'm telling you. So I just went on Facebook. This was another depression. I'm in school. I feel disconnected from people, from human beings. That's something I actually learned in therapy. But that part of my depression can be caused by me not feeling connected enough to other people. I go on Facebook. I have like 200 friends on Facebook. 5 of them said, "Oh, I love a card. I make cards." So I made these cards. There's different ones. They have different love sayings inside. Like this one is one of my favorites. Hope, love, dream. And this one just says love. But I made here. Love makes you beautiful. So I made these cards. Each person got a different card. They're about 5 friends. One friend actually sent me a card after getting a card, which was very meaningful to me. And so that's the way I connected with other people in an isolating situation, because school can be very isolating. Being in the Napa Valley can be very isolating. I had a whole dance card in Berkeley when I lived there for 8 years. And so these were cards that I made. And on and on and on I create. So there is something in you, and I know that there is something in you that you can give, and that's the point. As much as you might be looking for validation on the outside, if you're not able to get that from somebody, especially at this moment during COVID, think about what you can do for somebody else. Maybe if it's a website. Excuse Me Professor has definitely been that for me. I don't get huge amounts of hits on Excuse Me Professor, but the ones that I do, I know it's meaningful to that person that goes to that site. So at least not right now, because it's still pretty new anyway. If you're a scientist, text other people. If you want to learn how to sew, pick something up and learn it. These, power of positive doing. It's all about the power of positive doing. It will help you get out of your depression, I promise. It's one little step. Be proud of that one little step. You're not alone. I promise you, do not fault yourself for how you are feeling right now as you go through this. This is not a blame game. Do not blame yourself. It is not your fault. It's not just about the power of positive thinking, the power of positive doing, and you will be okay. Face those emotions, but while you're facing them, go and take a walk if you can. Do some push-ups, do some exercise, and you will get through it. I promise. I love everyone. Big hugs and kisses, and I hope this was helpful. I hope to make a couple more videos about isolation and other tips and tricks that I have done to get myself out of depression. Thanks. Love everyone. Subscribe, like that dingy bell, and I will see you next time. Bye. Sa